Welcome to another episode of Sports Extra, your premium online sports show. Ruimbo Chakreka is my name. I'm your host, and I'm joined by Sydney Sawanu. You may remember him from the other episode where they were about to kill each other with Titch, but you can see he's alive. So offset, nothing much happened. But anyway, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for liking our Facebook page. We're just about to hit the 170 mark. Thank you so much for that. We're also seeing our Instagram handle also go to another level. We're hitting the 50 mark now. Thank you so much for liking. Continue to like, to subscribe, to share, to also comment on all of the content that we're throwing out there. Thank you so much for those that have been throwing their comments in the comment section. I know sometimes we can't get through to all of them, but we are so thankful. So it's at Sports Extra Zim if you'd like to follow our content and some of the news stories that we put up on our Facebook and Instagram. And then, of course, on our YouTube channel, it's a Sports Extra ZW, and that is where you'll find most of the videos. We've also got a couple of channels that are there, so that is Word on the Street, where we get to hear from other listeners and viewers just like you, telling us what they think about whatever topic we're putting out there. We've also got the Extra Sports feature, where we've spoken to the likes of Sean D'Souza, who is the Zimbabwe Under-20 Junior Sables head coach. We've also got former national cricketer Dirk Villian. That was the latest one that we did. And then we're going to be having another one coming through next week. We're going to be talking to the ZRU president himself, Aaron Jani, and on some of the plans that he has for Zimbabwe Rugby Union. But anyway, that's all about Sports Extra. Let's talk about what we're going to be chatting about today. So today we're facing the Bafana. Most likely when you get to watch this episode, the match will be done, but we're going to have a preview from Simba Chiminya, also looking into the Ethiopia game, because that's the next game we play in the next 4 days for the World Cup qualifiers. Then cricket. It is the gift that keeps on giving. We've lost the last 2 matches against Ireland, and we don't know whether we're going to come out of this T20 series, at least with another victory. We've lost the series effectively, but hopefully with another victory, and then be prepared enough for the one-day international series. That one has got points, so we've got to win within that particular series. Then, of course, the good news that came through, unfortunately, we weren't able to have our Wednesday episode, but the good news that came through was SRC has given the green light, thumbs up, in other words, for sporting activities to come back, of course, under strict protocols, yada, yada, big letter, whatever. The key issue is sports is back. And so we're going to be talking about all of that and more right here on Sports Extra. Alrighty then, so let's start off with the Warriors. They are playing Bafana in the opening Group G match actually, where they are playing South Africa at the National Sports Stadium. And within that match, there's a whole lot of drama and issues around it, with us losing 2 players to positive COVID-19 tests, and then also South Africa losing 2 players to positive tests. So COVID-19 is still real and it's still there, but we're playing them at the National Sports Stadium. It's been a long time. The last significant time that we really met South Africa on home turf was, in July for the 2002 World Cup qualifier. It was in July 2001, and unfortunately we lost some lives there when South Africa was leading and things like that. But this time round, coming into it, Sydney, Logarosic is saying that I've got no excuses. I've got challenges, but I've got no excuses. But he does have serious challenges. He wasn't able to get Marvelous Nakamba, Tendai Darikwa, Brendan Galloway, Macaulay Bonne. All of them couldn't come because of the restrictions that have been placed, particularly in England. But he has Marshall Munetsi, Kama Billiat, Knowledge Mzona, Tinoka Dewere. All these have come through. I mean, what are your general thoughts before we look at another analysis which we got.
Look, against Bafana, I thought that the squad that is available for the Bafana encounter, I think it's a strong, decent squad. Of course, most pundits were complaining about the back four. And I'm sure you came across that article. There were a couple of local players in that setup. And to myself, I'm thinking, okay, based on what? They haven't kicked a ball in 3-4 months. And prior to that, they only played an average of 3 games. And so, it's a mixed up mess, so to speak. But I'm really excited. But I foresee, I would like to predict a draw. Because South Africans, their league has been functioning for the past 2-3 seasons without being disturbed. The majority of the players that are there, they play local football. Of course, they've been affected. Some of the 1 or 2 players they are missing in the Bafana squad, but they look solid. And as of us, we've got players coming from all over the world. We haven't gelled together. We haven't played much football together, and it's great. I don't know. I just hope that our guys are going to pull through. But I feel that Zimbabwe, on the other end, has an edge over Bafana.
All right. Well, we're all looking for a positive result, and hopefully that is what we will get. We do have a lot in the front line. But before I preempt that, I'll allow Simbachi Minya, who's also one of our resident analysts as well, giving his take on what he thinks about the Warriors squad and his prediction as well on the match.
We have a good team, Rimbo, despite the fact that we couldn't get all those players that we wanted. But if you also attest to the fact that even when you're going for the World Cup or Africa Cup of Nations, not all the teams will get in there with their best stars. Some of them will withdraw because of various reasons. So this is the same thing that has happened to us. And we'll also need to go deeper into this issue about our national team on another day when we've got more time to talk about this. Because when you look at the national team, we should not just scratch on the surface. We should go deeper. What makes a good national team is how we are able to churn out players, how we are able to have a product in terms of our local league. Even if our league our players are going out on regular basis, but we should still be able to churn out players that are of quality. Look at Brazil, look at Netherlands, look at France. In as much as their players are not really playing in there, but the structures that groomed those players are really vital. So this is the same thing that should happen to us. And if we face a crisis like what we did with the players that were barred from coming from England, we should easily turn on to our domestic league, which is non-existent. So these are the things that we'll touch on another day. But looking at the team that we have, I think the coming in of Benjani Marwari is really good because he infuses this confidence in both the players and the fans, and also sends a message to our opponents because of his stature, having captained the Warriors and also played in England, Manchester City, Portsmouth, playing at the highest level. So you saw how it managed to divert attention of the negatives from the log must go, log out, and people are just talking about Benjani Marwari. So it's a positive vibe that is in the Warriors team and the build up to this game because the fans have something to believe in. And then the coming in of Kudzichi Tima, you'd need a match analyst. You saw when Pitso Mosmane went to Al Ali and you took with him a match analyst from South Africa, and he attributed his success to this guy because he can give you statistics. So for Kudzi, you come in with the 6-4 hour players. We need to know how much ground Kama can cover within a game. We need to know his strength, weaknesses. We need to know even the strength of the opponents and also their weaknesses. So during the training, you can do quite a lot of work, and which would come in handy for this game against South Africa. And also, we evaluate that, and then going to Ethiopia again, the coach and the technical team will be armed with information that they could have gotten from the match analyst. So, I believe this is a welcome development. And looking at also Nyasha Charandura coming in, a sports scientist is needed because sports is now scientific, and you saw in the last 2 games that we played away in Botswana in the home match against Zambia, we didn't have a sports scientist. So I think these are the things that we should address going forward. And, if you look at the Italian team that won the Euro recently, you look at the backroom staff that was there, they had about 23 people who were supporting the coach. So this is the same thing that should be happening to us. We should have more people coming in to support the coach. It's not all about the coach alone. It's about a number of issues. You look at ZIFA, they should also play their part. You have the government, they also need to play their part because you look at all the national teams, when they are representing the country, they cease to be the baby of the federation. They now become a national asset, and all the support that they should need financially should also be coming from the government. And we also need the corporate sector to be coming in. Look at other countries, the successful countries in football, how much they get support from their corporates. So this is the same thing that should be happening to us. And on the field of play, I think the four guys that are there, the coach, Loga, his assistants, Lloyd Chitembwe, Tondera Ndira, and Benjamin Marwan would know how to set the team, looking at the players that they have at their disposal. And I can foresee us winning this game against South Africa.
Simba actually thinks it's going to be a win. So he's being positive. But interesting additions that he spoke about there. Match analyst coming through. Now we've got Kudzichi Tima, very qualified, and we know the kind of work that he has been doing. We're now looking at strength and conditioning. Sometimes I feel too little, too late. Sometimes I mean,
Yeah, true.
But at the same time, we also say better late than never. At least we're waking up to the aspect that a technical team now has to be so much bigger than just a head coach, a goalkeeper's coach, and maybe one or two assistant coaches, as well as maybe a physiotherapist. Anenge achitakura chigubhu chemazowe chemvura, which will be ice, and when once they get injured. We're now taking things a little bit more seriously, and we hope that going forward this will continue to be the case. But moving away from that national team to another national team, which has been giving us headaches for days.
Chevrons. Oh my goodness.
Now look, I love the boys. I've spoken to a number of them. We interview them quite a lot, Sydney. We chat with the guys. Very nice guys.
Very nice people. But when it comes to delivering, I don't know. It's first encounter, they won it. And it's now becoming a habit of Zimbabwe, defending, these low, ridiculous totals. I remember against Pakistan, we posted something like 120.
Yeah, 120 something.
120, and we defended that well. Even, Zimbabwe Chevrons playing against Ireland in their first T20 encounter, posting the same, almost, similar score line. And then, successfully defending. But come second T20, big totals, we can't. It's just ridiculous. I'm really disappointed.
Literally out of words, because think of what happened yesterday. So yesterday we win the toss, right? In the third match, which we lost, we had said, okay, we want to have a ball first. Okay, not a problem, it's fine. You can have a ball first. And we allowed them to get to 140 odd, right? 150 odd. And then we failed to chase it down. Fine, it's okay. Zaitika, let's move on. And then we win the toss. Craig Irvin was kind of like shocked when he won the toss, and then he goes and says, we're going to have a ball first. Like even the way he said it was not even confident enough. It was like, was there any communication between the dressing room and them, of which that is something that must be communicated, that if we do win the toss, having assessed the pitch, because you do go for a warm-up, then this is what we're going to do. But it seemed like as if it was like he was still tossing within his head, should we bowl, should we bat first? I thought that was a batting first pitch because the commentators or analysts had spoken before, and surely for them as professional cricketers, they should have been able to pick up on that. They had said it was going to be a slow pitch.
Okay.
So there was going to be even bounce for whoever was going to bat first.
All right.
And then for whoever was going to come and bat second, there was going to be uneven bounce and the pitch was going to slow up.
Yeah.
So for people that are professionals, that should be able to read pitches much better than I do, because I don't think I can give a pitch report. But I'm just saying.
Let me take you a few years back. You remember when Zimbabwe lost to UAE in a World Cup qualifier match, just a few miles from where we are. It was just because of those decisions. You know, it was being predicted that it's going to rain, but for some strange reason, the former captain Graham Creamer made a bad call. And Craig Haven was part of that team. I'm sure he should have learned a couple of lessons from there, and he should have made the right call. But look, Zimbabwe cricket, we know, like I'm sure after these games, there's going to be the ODIs. I watched the Irish playing against the South Africans. They put up a good fight. They won the other ODI.
Yeah, one of the ODIs.
So in this encounter, in this series, I don't think that it's going to be embarrassing for us. It's going to be an embarrassing defeat. I think this series is gone.
Yeah, and think about the fact that you want your senior players to be available to put on their best performance, and you decide to rest them for the T20 series, which doesn't make sense because you want to have some game time. Let Brendan Taylor be out in the middle, understand how the pitches are acting in Ireland, as well as to work with the conditions, because 3/4 of the time when you're playing in Ireland, it is going to be overcast conditions, and we know that the ball swings when we're in overcast conditions. You say Blessing Zarabani had an eagle. Okay, fair and fine. But that is also another very concerning department, because if we've been following the matches, what has been disconcerting is the fact that most of the wickets that have been taken by Zimbabwe have been taken by all-rounders and not our strike bowlers.
That's an area that needs to be addressed. It means that maybe we should put in the team more all-rounders. You know,
in essence.
But credit to Ryan Bell. You know, that lad always plays his heart out. You know, that's the spirit that we want in the Zimbabwe cricket setup. And I wish we had 3-4 players like Ryan Bell. He always gives you that 150%. And yeah, man, I think it's time that we should look ahead, maybe to Scotland. You know, they look a little bit weak. Maybe we can get something out of that. But as of this Irish series, it's done. It's done and
definitely. I don't think we're going to really get much out of it. I don't think we're going to win the ODI series. Maybe if we pick up a match or so, we get a couple of points. But I think effectively the 2023 World Cup qualifying campaign is pretty much in the doldrums.
Yeah.
And
we are still bottom two?
We were still bottom two. For us to qualify directly, that is now a non-starter. We are going to have to slug it out in qualifiers. And we don't know who's going to be coming down to the qualifiers. Well, most certainly we know the likes of Ireland, most probably Scotland, maybe Papua New Guinea, which is quickly improving. Afghanistan is most probably going to. But who knows, with the way that they are now beginning to perform, they're doing really well. I was actually shocked to look at Bangladesh. Bangladesh is now struggling for an automatic place. And if they are to come down to the qualifiers, then we already know that it's them.
They're going to give us a height.
You see.
So, you see, they think that, I'm sure that the coaches, they think that they have time. They don't have time. To them, they think that we are still at that warm-up phase. But we don't have time. We need to get those points ASAP.
We need to get them. The question is, how are we going to get them with poor batting performances, poor bowling performances?
Do we think that we need to sack the coach right now before it's too late? Or the whole technical department? Because look, these guys have been there for a very long time. You know, we've been giving them excuses. You know, I remember Zimbabwe Cricket Board, they had to sit down and they had to give Hamilton Masakadza a task. And one of the tasks was for this current team to start producing results. If that doesn't happen, and we need those results ASAP, because the points are on the line.
But I'm going to explain exactly why that demand is still difficult, and we're going to talk about it particularly in the final segment when we talk about the SRC, which is our major discussion. Would love for you to comment and really talk about it as well, to give us your thoughts and your comments on it. But as we leave the chevrons, because we know we can talk about them the whole day, I think the youngster experiment has not worked, and the reason why we don't have any competitive local cricket that we're playing, from franchise going all the way down to our club system, and that is also an issue of finances and levels of sponsorship, which Zimbabwe Cricket are saying that they are looking to address, and hopefully they will address as soon as possible. But while still talking about cricket, though, a big name in cricket retired. That's Dale Steyn, a fantastic bowler, particularly when he was within his prime. And we got to speak to Dean du Plessis, who's another one of our resident analysts and a cricket encyclopedia and he spoke on Dale Steyn's career, ultimately from when he started up until now, and what he thinks of Dale Steyn.
To be honest, I think anybody who came across Dale Steyn, whether he was a youngster in terms of perhaps even as a kid and then growing into his teenage years, I'd like to believe that everybody knew that there was something about him, the way that he conducted himself on the field, fiercely aggressive on the field, but a very nice human being off the field. So the majority of your real champion quality fast bowler, those are the traits normally. But I first came across Dale Steyn in 2004. It was a domestic game. It was then known as the Super Sports Series. And it was the Titans, Dale Steyn's home team, or one of the many home sides that he played for. But I'd like to say his original home team, who he played for against the Dolphins. So a wonderful collection of players playing their 4-day matches. You had Dale Steyn, A.B. de Villiers playing for the Titans. You had Lance Klusener, Hashim Amla, and Dale Benkenstein playing for the Dolphins. So very good competitive cricket. And Dale Steyn just relentlessly ran in. And not only was he very quick, consistently bowling at 150 kilometers an hour, but he was accurate as well. Very, very accurate. So it came as no real surprise that after only 11 first-class matches, he made his debut for South Africa against England at St. George's Park in 2004. Who will ever forget the delivery that he bowled to get the England skipper Michael Vaughan? A magnificent delivery that just came back off the seam and made a real mess of his stumps. Then he kind of disappeared off the scene for a bit, but certainly came back very nicely in the 2000-2008 series. And in fact, he bowled so well with those 78 wickets that he took in 2007-2008 that he was named as the ICC Cricketer of the Year in 2008, and rightly so. There were so many incredible things that he achieved. You know, his ability to also understand the game so very well. The ability, as he got a bit older, to run in and just consistently ensure that he was hitting a good line and length, and then getting the ball to swing as well with accuracy. And then understanding that there was a time when he needed to perhaps play through the pain barrier and consistently bowl as quickly as you possibly could. So suddenly now you had a jump from somebody who's bowling at 136, 137 kilometers an hour to once again nudging the 147, 148 kilometers an hour. And he could do that even after he turned 30 years old. You know, there's always this conception that once you've reached 30, you lose a bit of pace. And Dale Steyn, as long as he was injury-free, never lost any of his pace right up until he decided to call it quits. And that's why he has the most wickets from a South African perspective in Test match cricket, 439. I think it'll take some time for somebody to pass that. He was incredible. That's why they called him the Steyn remover as well. So he was very good with the new ball, shaping it away from the right-handers, and then he would come back and simply demolish the lower and even the middle order with very fast reverse swing and, of course, accurate bounces as well. I certainly remember the 76 that he scored with JP Duminy in that wonderful partnership in the second test match, which was played at the MCG in 2008. That particular partnership between Steyn and Duminy allowed South Africa to get into a position where they were able to go on and not only win the test match and win the series. So Dale Steyn was a phenomenon. There is no doubting that. I mean, you look at his average, you look at his strike rate. People talk about James Anderson, who himself is a very, very good bowler. In my opinion, Dale Steyn was the best fast bowler in his generation and is definitely one of the best fast bowlers of all time, judging the statistics and the averages.
Customer Success Consultancy is the business that is there for you. In particularly, in a world where the 21st century is focusing on the customer, Customer Success Consultancy will provide ideas that will take your marketing, sales, and branding to another level. Some of the services that we do offer are advertising ideas, branding, digital marketing, as well as sales marketing. So we are here to make sure that you go to the next level in customer success. So Dale Steyn, wow, okay, Dean says arguably one of the greatest bowlers of all time. And
I totally agree with Dean. Look, I mean, the numbers speak for themselves.
439 test wickets.
I mean, that guy was a phenomenal bowler. I mean, I remember there was this day when he annihilated the whole Australian batting lineup. Remember the days of Adam Gilchrist?
Yeah.
They had a very strong batting lineup. You know, Ricky Ponting, you know, to mention a few, and you know, single-handedly he destroyed them. You know, and they secured, you know, a victory for South Africa. But look, he's going to be one person it's going to be hard for, you know, cricket South Africa to replace. I mean, the tenacity and the space, the speed that he used to bowl it. I mean, it's just it was just fantastic. I'm sure that I mean, I wish we could do something, you know, another version of Dale Steyn. Yeah.
Let's quickly talk about that. Actually, you brought up something quite interesting. Dale Steyn bowled in what you would say arguably one of the best South African bowling attacks when he bowled alongside the likes of Morne Moko, because you knew the Makai and Tini for a short while,
Kagiso.
and then Kagiso Rabada as well for a short while. But Vernon Philander was also one of the others that he bowled with quite consistently. So imagine the options that they had, particularly with their three-pronged attack. So you had Dale Steyn, who had the pace, he had the ability to swing the ball both in and out, to reverse swing it when it was an older ball. Then you had Morne Moko, who would offer you both pace and bounce because of the height that he had. Then you had Vernon Philander, who could swing the ball both in and out, in as much as he wasn't as quick as both of those two, Morne Moko and Dale Steyn. But I mean, his swing.
He was a good backup bowler because, of course, he was not in the main attack. But one thing that I liked about that generation of bowlers was, you know, it's going to be like what I've mentioned before. It's going to be difficult for Cricket South Africa to replace those guys. They were special. That's how I would describe it. They were special. You know, a rare breed to find in the current cricket setup. But their attack. I mean, the coaches. I give credit to the coaches. Mickey Arthur. You know, I remember he was one of the coaches as well. Last time I checked, when he came with Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe, they knew exactly what they wanted from the guys, so they gave them a specific talent. These are what I want you to do. From the very first over, when you come in, this is what I want you to achieve. And I'm sure, you know, so it was actually easier for the likes of, you know, Philander, likes of Dale Steyn. They knew exactly what they need to achieve in the first ball square. The target was Dale Steyn, go out there, you know, don't give out space this. If it means that you have to hurt,
one or two. Yeah.
crack a rib or so, please do that. So that's, and in that setup, that's why you would see, the Delstein would flourish, because they knew exactly what what was required.
And something that kind of like with chevrons, but anyway, we don't want to go too far with that one. Anyway, so what we actually want to talk about now, in particular, is sports is back.
Sport finally
It's back. And apparently, at the end of September, football should be resuming. That's the Kibuku Super Cup, picking up from where they left off, and all these other sports have now got the opportunity to return. But let's now look at the impact of this delayed return to sport. Yes, we're grateful and we're thankful that finally the SRC has given the go-ahead, but we have seen how it has crippled sport literally at the knees, considering what we're now seeing on the international level. So we'll start first and foremost with our football. Football is returning at the end of September. However, we've got World Cup qualifiers now. Like today, we're talking about Bafana.
Yeah.
And because we didn't have a local league running, we were so flustered by the players that were not able to come from England, because we didn't have any players that we could have assessed on a local level. And that brings me back to the same issue that I've been putting out, and the question that I've been putting out. Everybody is calling for Zdravko Logaricic's head. But let's be practical. When he came in, that was what, 2019? He signs a contract around about January, February. March, we get the initial lockdown, which totally shut down everything. Football only returned 18 months later, which was literally a year and a half later.
And we played an average of 3-4 games. Then another lockdown was imposed.
So how then can we make a judgment on Logaricic, whether he's a poor coach or not? People are talking about, we can't see his tactics, we can't see his football. But the question is, with a lockdown and with players not even training, how then was he supposed to do things?
Right. I would like to sympathize with him. At the same time, I would like to, personally, this is how I feel. I felt that, the brilliance of Zdravko Logaricic, we saw it when we played against Algeria, when we drew 2-0 at the National Sports Stadium. I thought that was a great game, a great display of soccer. Remember, that time Algeria was ranked number 1, and we managed to get a point out of it. That's why we qualified for the World Cup. It put us in a better position to qualify for the AFCON. Yeah. So, and also, securing a victory against Botswana, Botswana, off a background whereby the president of Botswana gave them a $1 million package and said, guys, go get the
Warriors, do what you need to do. Yeah.
And then Zdravko Logaricic with minimum resources, he managed to get 3 points out of it. Long story short, we are going to Cameroon next year, 2022. So I just feel that, he could have done better. He could have done better. And with this game that is up next against Bafana in Ethiopia, no room for excuses. Most of the foreign-based players, we have them. And what he needs to do now is to get back on the drawing board, find the right blueprint for our boys.
But then the argument continues, still, Sid, in as much as you are saying that there are no excuses, he hasn't had any friendlies in order to gel the team. And you spoke about it at the beginning of the show, where you said that we've got a lot of foreign-based players coming from everywhere, whether they're coming from Scotland or whatever, but they're coming
Georgia,
from whatever. They are coming from
the country
everywhere.
next to Russia.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they play soccer, but anyway.
But that's the thing. So you've got a situation whereby we couldn't organize friendlies because we were in a lockdown. We couldn't get anything. We understand Zifa has got its part to play. We're not going to be concentrating on friendlies because we want to concentrate on this and that. But in any case, he couldn't get any friendlies in order to gel his team. And which is bringing us to the issue that we're saying that SRC should have let things go just a little bit. Because we're saying, in as much as we understand COVID-19 is there, football was put to a hold same time. Tese, same time.
Yeah.
Right? South Africa came back, finished its season, started another season, finished its season,
Yeah.
have started another
Another
season, and we are still not yet starting.
Yeah. Look, it's going to locally, man, it's just a headache for the players, for the coaches, for the football administrators, because look, most of our local based players that we have in Zimbabwe, they rely on football. That's their main source of income. And I just felt that SRC and maybe the responsible authorities, they were overcautious when it comes to the way that we treat our local, not just soccer, but our local sports. I just feel that they need to be, there's need to be, I don't know, maybe via Ministry of Sports and Recreation, they need to take our local sports seriously. Because we can't just talk of soccer. There are so many sports courts that are played here in Zimbabwe, and they were affected even up to today. We talk of sponsorship being pulled out. We talk of so many things, even players' fitness. There are so many. I mean, players even. So most of these, I remember at some point, prior to this show, Highlanders at football administrators, they had to go and negotiate
With the landlords.
with landlords. So guys, right now we don't have money, but we are looking, maybe in the next couple of months we'll be able to pay the players, and the players will pay you. So and it worked, but we shouldn't have put ourselves
In that kind of a position.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about football. What about rugby? Look at rugby. Rugby, we've now literally got most of our local players have not touched the ball within the space of 2 years.
Certainly.
2 straight years
yeah.
that they haven't been playing any form of rugby. Then you've also got cricket. For all of those playing in the franchise setup, basketball, any kind of sport, they've gone through this kind of a frozen state, so to speak. So at the end of the day, how then do we intend to qualify for Rugby 2023? Yes, I mean, we are calling players from outside of the country to come in and play. But what does that mean for the local players? Does that mean ultimately they can't make it for the Sables? And should they be punished for that? And we're looking at number 2 when it comes to cricket. We are struggling to find bowlers. We're struggling to find others to help replace underperforming players that are in the current Chevrons setup. That means the 2023 50 over World Cup is compromised. We've also got the T20 World Cup, which is also compromised. Now, this one, we aren't worrying too much about it. Why? Because already we were under suspension. That's why we couldn't go for the qualifier tournament, which is fine, right? But we're now fighting to try and make the 50 over World Cup, and our clubs are still not yet playing. Yes, now the green light has come, but how much time is it going to take for them to get back into full fitness, for us to get back into full games that are going to be played? So some of the decisions that are being made at the top aren't being done with a certain level of business sense, as you said, in mind. Corporates are pulling out because they don't see any benefit.
Yeah.
What's the use? Even right now, fine, we have said no fans are allowed to come in, but we're on a massive vaccination drive. Zimbabwe is arguably within the top 3 or top 5 of the countries that have got the best vaccination rate on the African continent. So people should just simply be told, if you're vaccinated, you're able to come in and you're able to watch. Yes, COVID can still be spread if you're vaccinated, but it drastically reduces the chances.
True. This is what I would like to maybe advocate for. The sports associations, they should unite. Maybe what do you call it? Issue out, what do you call it? A petition.
Petition.
A petition to the government, a petition to the Sports and Recreation Commission. Because I think to some extent they are to blame because they don't. I don't know. Maybe I stand here to be corrected. They are not pushing. Hard enough. That's how I feel. Imagine a letter coming from ZIFA, coming from ZRU, coming from Zimbabwe Cricket, coming from Handball Association of Zimbabwe, coming
triathlon everywhere.
And saying, guys, we really need our sports back locally. You know, I just feel that they need to do more. They need to push more, like what you have said, to make sure that we have, you know, our sports back here locally.
Yeah, and talk about, and finally, I mean, I'll put a point out there in particular for athletics. In athletics, we did not qualify for the Olympics. Yeah, I know you heard me right. We did not qualify for the Olympics. Whether it was 1.5, 3,000, steeplechase, 10,000 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters, the one which was run by Ngoni Magusha, we did not qualify. We got a universality slot, meaning that we have to make a plan now to qualify for the Paris 2024 Olympics.
Yeah.
And the 2024 Olympics, we can't say are 3 years away because right now we're in September.
In September, yeah.
In essence, we are 2 years away from those Olympics. So at what point are these guys going to be able to get back, have the athletes meets, begin to prepare our people to start going to the world qualifying events and world championships? Because the Diamond League has continued whilst we are still in shutdown. Right? We saw Eugene, we saw Paris, we saw Oregon. All these are happening. The Diamond League, in Ramberi. And at the present moment, we don't even have a track worth to speak of at the National Sports Stadium, which can allow us to have world qualifying times, or at least world championship qualifying times, which will allow our athletes to go to the Olympics. So I have got a strong feeling that the SRC is also not taking it seriously, because it's one thing to say that we want to qualify for the Olympics, and it's one thing to be great and nice, looking great, walking around that track as officials and as those that are administrators, walking around that track carrying our Zim flag. But it is embarrassing when we've only got 3 people following behind you as administrators that would have qualified for the event.
Look, man, I just feel like, you know, SRC, they need to do more, you know, to make sure that, you know, not just the resumption of local sports, but to make sure that, let's talk about professionalizing our local sports. You know, that talk, I haven't heard it in a while. Nobody wants to touch on that story.
Who wants to professionalize? Everybody wants to stay in the amateur zone because it removes the responsibility of having to find financing for all of these athletes.
But that's how we're going to progress. That's how we're going to be recognized as a sports giant in Zimbabwe. We have the talent here, no doubt.
But also then let's quickly go on to that one, and this one has sparked something within me. How can we professionalize things where we have sports associations that don't run things in a professional manner? So, for example, within the hosting of things are not even done professionally. Even just your own accounts. Look, you know, for example, if you were to go onto the website for the U.S. Tracks or U.S. Athletics Association, right? If you were to go on the website and you were to look for their accounts, audited accounts, you will find them on their website. It's because they are serious about what they are doing. Go on to World Rugby, you will find the audited accounts. Go on to International Cricket Council, you will find the audited accounts. Why are we not posting our audited accounts on our Facebooks, our websites, particularly for sports associations here? And then you want it to be professional.
Look,
how can it be professional?
I'm sure, I know that you know, that you know, there have been, you know, allegations of officials using money for their personal use, embezzling funds. And those allegations, they've been across board in most sports associations that I can't even name.
Yeah, over the years as well.
Over the years, you know. So, who wants to commit to a commercial partnership with such organizations? So, what do we need to do? We need to, you know, I think ZEC, they have got, you know, a big responsibility on their hands to ensure that they need to intervene when you know, all these allegations are being raised. They need to intervene to make arrests where it's necessary. You know, so but then it starts. We need a starting point. That's what we need as Zimbabwean sports, you know, lovers, sports fans, to be specific. We need a starting point. You know,
What is the starting point, Sid?
the starting point is to make sure that the administrators are former players. That's number one. Because let me tell you something.
But does that mean every former player knows how to administrate?
Look, this is my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I feel that, not that I feel, I'll give you for a fact. Felton Gamambo never played soccer in his whole entire life. You know that.
Yeah.
You know that. He never played. I'm still here to be corrected. But where is it? Where is he? Has he ever played Division 1, Division 2 football?
No, none.
You know. So what we need to empower our former local athlete to run sports association. At least they have passion.
Yeah,
They
they've got the
understand.
passion, but also at the same time, are they also willing to go into it? And I would love to hear your thoughts on this one because we're about to round up the show. Are they also interested in making sure that they get round to it? Because many people have been crying out and saying, we need to take care of our legends. Hey, we need to take care of former players. We need to find ways of making sure kuti havazofa vari rombe kana kuti havazofa vasina chekubata and things like that. But we also have to ask the question that when they were playing football in their heydays, how many of them, I know few of them, but how many of them actually put the effort into making sure that they got coaching badges, they got administrative badges? I know Benjani Marwaru has got a UEFA A license, and we know that he had been, how he got that license going back to Portsmouth and doing his badges. Right? Great, fair and fine. Peter Ndlovu, had Mamelodi Sundowns not taken him in, had he done his due diligence? No, he hadn't. So big question now. For another kama billiard, knowledge musona, Tino Kadewere, musangonakirwa muri ku France, mushiro wa Range Rover. Look, let's get in there. Let's do the sports administration stuff. Let's do it.
We within the SRC constraints, they need to come up with a policy whereby for you to run a sports association, you should have at least played the sport.
And you must at least have the qualification.
Yes, but you should have at least played the sport.
Agreed.
And papers.
Yeah, because on the field and off the field are two different things.
True.
Yeah,
But
because
sports
UEFA Champions League is lovely when it's on the field of play, but the amount of work and logistics and planning and finances that goes on behind the scenes is even more tasking than the coaches that come through and give us the players on the field of play so that we enjoy those competitions.
Look, that's why you see the current UEFA president is a former player.
Agreed.
Most of those guys who sit in that UEFA board, they are former players. Whether on the women's side or
But
on the
ona
men's side.
Platini,
Yeah, look, of course, there is no such thing as a perfect system. But at least we can't compare to what they do and what we do here, can we? Despite all the allegations and all the
Twitter fake. This is fake. Kutamba, and until we get serious, then I don't think we'll be able to reach the kinds of heights that we can. Anyway, Sid, we've run out of time, and we sincerely hope you've enjoyed the show. But please do get in touch with us and let us know your thoughts. Comment section below.
Comment section.
Let us know your thoughts, particularly with SRC, their delay in bringing back sport. But anyway, thank you guys for bringing sport back. Thank you, SRC. We appreciate it. Thank you. And we hope that the sporting associations will adhere to the COVID-19 protocols, get people vaccinated, get them playing sport, because I believe that's the only way we can do it. I'm Ruimbo Chakureka, your host, Sydney Sawano. Always a pleasure to have you. And thank you so much for joining us. Like, share, subscribe at Sports Extra Zim on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, our YouTube channel, Sports Extra ZW. But until next time, cheerio.